Hey everybody, I'm Cheryl Swift, the Duchess of Rock and Roll, sitting here in snowy, icy St. Louis, and here's none other than Cody Jinks.
Hey, well, I know it's snowy and icy there. We could have, if we had any precipitation right now, it might be snow or ice. I was saying a while ago, it just got cold here all of a sudden, and it was really nice yesterday. So
yeah, yesterday it was like 60 some odd degrees when I left work, and then this morning it's sleeting. So
it's dreary. It's real dreary too.
Yeah.
Like it's just gray, and it looks like my flannel. People can't see it, but it's like gray and black. Like
yeah, I have on my my standard black T-shirt.
Yeah.
People are like, "What's your closet look like?" I'm like, black and gray, 3 blue and 3 red shirts. I mean, it's what I do. So how are you doing? I'm assuming you're at home in Texas.
I'm at home in Texas. Yes. Enjoying some time off. Had an unfortunate, kind of thing happen with some West Coast stuff earlier this year. Just the whole COVID thing and numbers falling off and, for concert attendance and things of that nature. So, just one of those situations that everybody's been dealing with for the last couple of years. And
right.
So it kind of caused us to have a slow start to the year. Just a few shows, January, February, and March. And, April, May, we'll start getting busier again, getting into fair and festival season. But,
yes.
But we've got a lot going on behind the scenes, so there's, I'm constantly trying to get new material together and I'm picking out a handful of songs that I want to cover right now. So we're just kind of using the last couple of years is in getting back to having fun. I'll be 42 this year, and we've been hitting it hard for a long time. So it's, I'm getting older. I can feel it. And, now there's some just really cool projects that I want to do. So starting to do the beginning phases of those.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been interesting. I've only done one interview in all the years I've been doing this over the phone. That was with Marcus King. And then today I was like, I'm setting up for a Zoom interview. The world has changed in the last 3 years, but if you're not going to roll with it, as the new song says, you gotta roll. You have to learn to adjust. And I know that you did a lot of writing over Zoom. I think you had some people down to the house to write in the last couple of years, but you also did a lot of stuff on Zoom. And, the concert cancellations, there's been a lot of flex, I guess is the word. A lot of, we've all had to learn to do things a little differently to stay safe. And so I really appreciate you taking your time out to do this interview, because normally I do them live and in person, but I also appreciate that when you're at a venue or at a show, you want to chill and, go have lunch and call the kids and talk to Rebecca before a show. You need to have your time and space too. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this today.
Yeah, you're welcome. I can't remember the last interview I did, really, to be honest with you.
It's been a while.
I don't do many anymore. I have a company that helps me, quotes and things of that nature. Should I, they need a quote for something, they'll really just dig through a whole bunch of shit that they have. It'd be like, well, he said that,
Right. I know.
I did say that, but
right. But a long time ago. Yeah. The last interview we did was, I don't know, 5 years ago, maybe. It's been a hot minute.
And since then I've probably only done, in the last 5 years, I've probably only done 10 interviews, maybe.
I know. I tell people, well, it's me, Rolling Stone, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I'll keep that company.
That's a great company, though, right?
I cannot complain. I'll always appreciate and admire you and respectfully and appropriately love you for changing my life, with these interviews. So I really appreciate that about you.
Oh, man. It's all right.
You're
welcome. We all start somewhere, man.
Right.
I remember that first one that we did. We were sitting there trying to share space on an iPad.
You're like, hey,
like trying to. It kind of looked. It reminded me of the commentators on like Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football or whatever. It's like you have the main guy talking, and then all of a sudden, like the color guy comes in and goes like that, and it's my turn to talk. We had to slide back out,
back and forth, like.
Yeah,
I've gotten a little more technology since then,
Yeah, but like you were saying a while ago, we wrote a lot over Zoom. It has been a game changer, and you know, most of the Mercy record was written over Zoom. Adam Hood came to the house. But there might've been a couple others in person, but I don't think really many. And we were all over the country when we were locked down. I mean, whoever was writing that day, it just figure out what time zone we're good.
Right. Yeah, that's funny. It was so funny. Adam Hood's manager, Ben, is one of my really close friends.
Yeah.
He goes, I was at Cody's house, and I was like, Cody?
Yeah, yeah.
He goes, I couldn't remember if you're friends with Cody Canada, Cody Cannon, or Cody Jinks. I was like,
well, there's a lot of us.
Again, good company. I said, I'm friends with
Jinks. Those are all cool.
He goes, I was at his house, and I was like, oh, okay. He's like, yeah. And then he told me that you and Adam had, you wrote Mercy together with Adam, right?
We did. Adam and I had met for the first time. And I think I've always thought a great deal of Adam as a songwriter, but we had only met once before, like person to person, face to face. And that was in Amarillo years ago. And it was one of those things that, it'll be in my movie or his movie or something, but it was like me and him and Edie and it just, like there's like 4 or 8 cool people there, and we were just passing a bottle of whiskey and the guitar around, and that was my first meeting of meeting him.
Yeah. Fast
forward, I mean, that was maybe 10 years ago. I don't know. Then wow. Fast forward to the lockdown, that thing, and songwriters were just figuring out the Zoom thing and trying to do anything that we could, because most of the people that I write with or that are in that circle, we can either jump on a plane or jump in a car or whatever to go write. These aren't your we have a 4:30 today, we have 2 hours to write, and we're going to write about this or whatever. These are the, hey man, you want to get together and write a song? I got this idea about, whatever.
You're not in a corporate office.
Right. It's not a job, you know? And anyway, and those are the types of people that I write with. And, Adam most certainly is that, but Ben and him stopped by last year, and remind you, I'd only met Adam once. And then the next thing, it's like, he's coming to the house.
Right.
And so, and at that time, we were just in the summertime of 20. So we still didn't know shit about anything.
Right.
And there were no vaccinations and nothing, and it's like, here's this guy I've met once before that I'm a big fan of in our business. But, it's like him and this other dude, Ben, and it's like, come into our home, bring whatever it is
let's do it. Yeah.
I'll get the chicken pox. We'll have chicken pox parties. So we didn't know at that time, but it was a lot of fun. My wife made chicken fried steak, and my wife makes killer chicken fried steak. So
she probably does. Yes.
So yeah. So it was, we had a nice meal, and we sat on the back porch and wrote Mercy. Man, on a real nice, just a summer evening. My back porch stretches out the length of my house, and there's been a bunch of songs written back there with everybody from Tennessee Jet, Paul Cawthon and Ward and Morning Star, a lot of songs off that back porch. So we sat down and wrote Mercy, and it ended up being the title track to the record. And when I had decided that it was going to be the title track to the record, I'd been talking back and forth with my management, and we were going over songs and this and that. And I had it narrowed down to 3 songs that I'd wanted. And when I finally decided, I remember I was at the beach. We were on Port Aransas, down South Texas. My family and we love to go down there, and, during the summertime, and do the family thing. It's just, I grew up going there. It's great.
Right.
4-day plug. But I was on the phone with my manager. I was like, okay, cool. We decided, Mercy, that's title track. And so I'm excited because I get to now make the phone call to Adam
Right.
to say, hey man, congratulations, dude, you know, title track. And I'll never forget the conversation that we had, we were both happy that the song made it first off, you know,
Right. Of course.
I love that song, you know, and
Yeah.
he was thrilled to have a song. And that's the first time we'd ever tried to write together as well. So,
Well,
you know, we were both,
a great collab.
it was a good start, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Get a title track. But, man, you know, I was as thrilled for him as he was for, you know, having a title track on there, and just, man, he's just what a wonderful human.
Yes. Yes. I had met him once, I think briefly in Nashville, the week that you and Paul Cawthon and Shiflett, we were all at that party at Basement East, Paul's party. And I had met him.
Big Velvet Review.
The Big Velvet Review. That's where we were.
Yeah.
Shiflett walked in, you walked in. I was like, well, if you aren't here tonight, Nashville, you are missing out on the biggest party of Americana Fest, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I met him that week, because I always try to cover Americana Fest, except the last 2 years I didn't go because of restrictions, and we've been limiting our travel. But he was here with Brent Cobb a month or two ago, and I walked up and I was like, hi, you know, and I introduced myself again. And I was like, so I heard you wrote with Cody. And he's like, should I know you? Well, maybe. And he's like, you seem to know a lot of people I know. And I was like, well, you know, your manager, Ben, is one of my really good friends. He's the sweetest man. And I was so thrilled to see that you guys wrote that song together and that he got the title track. You know,
he's awesome, man. You know, we need to write together again. You know, the world turned back on, and now it's like he hit the road and we got busy again.
Out, you know, in the world. Well, I want to backtrack a minute, then I want to talk about now, and then I want to talk about the future. We'll do the 3 phases here.
Okay.
Something someone always asks me, something everybody asks you. I would like to talk about it in this interview, and maybe people won't ask as often.
Okay.
David, everybody asks me if it's true. I mean, you've told me, but I would like you to tell the story of David here on today's interview.
Yeah, you know, and it's not true. You know, I have, you know, military and first responders type people in my my life, you know, friends and family and stuff like that. So I essentially, the song is so sad. The funny thing about David is that it's one of the saddest songs that I've ever written. I was really exercising my inner Chris Knight whenever I wrote that song. And whenever I thought I'd made it as sad as I could, I was able to make it a little sadder. But it's really one of the only songs that I've written from, you know, that perspective.
Yes.
And it's one of the only songs that I've written that was completely, you know, made up, just a song.
Right.
You know, it didn't happen to me. And I don't have many of those. Dirt is one of those. That's told from the perspective of a 10-year-old child in the Dust Bowl era.
Right.
But yeah, man, David was an exercise. Now, the funny thing about David is such a sad song, but the music to David is like thumping, you know? So it's like, you see people like jamming.
I'm like, are you listening to the lyrics?
And so people are just hearing this just rocking ass, just badass song, you know? And
like, wait a minute, what'd he say?
But
when you first recorded it, it was different though, right?
It was I can't even remember it anymore.
I think it was a little
can't even
slower,
remember.
And then you upped the tempo. I could be wrong.
We might have. I can't even remember it at this. We've been
modified.
We've recorded so much since then.
Yes.
But yeah, that song's been good too. I play that song every night.
Yes.
That'll be a song that I play for the rest of my life. We keep track of constantly which songs are uploaded, downloaded, streamed.
Oh, yes.
Whatever. We have a list of the top 15 of those every day. Like that's something I never look at it. I really don't give a shit. Like management types look at that.
Right. You're like,
no,
as somebody tells me.
I don't know. Like they're like, oh man, you had this many spins of this song. I don't know. Is it good? I don't know. But David's constantly in the top 15. I do know that because I do know that those 15, I can, if I do look at the numbers, I can tell by the crowd reaction feedback from a show. If I didn't play one of those songs, they let me know about it.
Hear about it.
Yeah.
I know a few of them you keep in the set list every night. What would you say is I have my guess for what the number one on the numbers chart song is. Do you know what it is? I don't know, but
first is Loud and Heavy. Second is, I believe, Hippies and Cowboys.
Okay.
Anymore, I might be lying. Cast No Stones might be in that 3 or 4 slot, somewhere around there. But I couldn't probably even tell you what the top 5 are. I could probably tell you I know that the top 15 are probably these ones,
right?
But yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, well, I had to cover David. One more before we move to the present. What was this like to walk out to that?
It's I'm glad we recorded that live, and you just held up the live at Red Rocks record. Because I look about this big on the cover because I felt about that big at Red Rocks. I mean, and I love that cover shot because normally a cover shot is like this giant picture
of you,
of your face and whatever. But that cover shot is, I'm tiny and I love
you're a little
yeah.
You're like, wait a minute.
It's focused on the crowd and it's focused on the moment. And that's what I think is really what's beautifully captured in that record, that cover. And then that's another cool shot from the back. I had the best seat in the house watching those people watch us perform that night. It's a magical place. Anybody that's played there, and word around the campfire is that we're going to get to go back this year. So I can neither confirm nor deny any dates right now, but
I didn't say anything.
Yeah. And it's just, I think we're going to go back. I think we're working on it. If it doesn't happen, y'all don't get all
mad. Don't get
all mad, but
well, as a fan,
yeah,
we were there, of course.
Yeah.
Come to your majors, except for Loud and Heavy. I couldn't come to Loud and Heavy, but just, besides watching you walk out with Christofferson, which is one of the highlights of my life, he's
me too. Two hands raised right here.
He's one of my heroes besides Merle.
There's the picture that he left in my guitar case. It stares at me. He left me he left me his headshot, and it's this picture of him he's kind of sitting like this, and he's got that devilish looking little grin thing going on, like I'm like, man, he is a handsome fellow. Anyway, that picture stares at me he's right beside Merle Haggard, Johnny Cash, the Highwaymen, Chris Cornell, Lemmy, Dimebag Darrell, and Billy Don Burns. That's
yeah, I always watch that wall. I always look at that wall when you do your.
He's there. Chris is sitting right in there with all the rest of those guys. But it says to Cody, it says, "Thanks, Cody. Peace, Chris Christofferson." And whenever I'm not feeling peaceful at all, man, I look at Chris, and it's like, man, I got to meet that guy. He signed a guitar that's hanging in my living room. And that's crazy. But anyway, yeah, you mentioned Chris Christofferson. I went out on that tangent.
No, it's okay. This was a gift I received. I went to the tribute concert, and my friend bought it for me thinking it was signed by all the artists.
Yeah.
Bought it on a charity auction, and when it came, it was signed by Chris. You want to see me have a meltdown?
I bet.
That's one of my prized possessions. Because
I've never gotten for sure.
And I was just sobbing. And so we redid the house during COVID, because what are you going to do? We redid the room. And so he's going, it isn't up yet because it's all being redone, but he's going right front, right in my office because he's my hero. And I have Tanya. I got to meet Tanya Tucker right before lockdown, and she wrote "Love You," Tanya Tucker, on a T-shirt, and I was like, I mean, you know, she's like, hello.
She was awesome. She is awesome. I got to meet her pretty much before the lockdown. We were playing. It was us and her and Jamie Johnson, and she was too cool.
Yeah,
really a bubble.
Oh, she's something.
Of man,
she makes me
whatever it is, man. Whatever it is, she's got it. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, and like you talk about a woman that walks anywhere and commands, like you don't even know, you might not know who she is, but if Tanya Tucker walks in the room, everybody's gonna go and look.
Yeah, you'll stop.
Yeah, she's incredible.
Came out on stage with Kendall a couple years ago at the Exit Inn. You know, he does the Honky Tonk Experience, and you should have. I mean, I screamed. I'm recording. I was like, "That's Tanya." You know, like I just love her. So meeting her was one of those moments. But anyway, back on track. So let's talk about the new music and Mercy, and maybe a little Caned by Nod after we talk about music.
Sure.
I'm thrilled by that. So first of all, I love that you record with your friends and support them and put them on these albums. I mean, Josh, Kendall, some special guests, Greg, and you did Hurt with Rebecca.
I got to tell you, man, it's not nice of me to include those people on my records, man. I'm leaning on them, man. That's some of you just named some of the best in the business. I mean, the best in the business, these people. And they are my friends. I'm thankful to call them my friends, and I'm thankful my wife's just in the last couple of years has started writing with me a little bit, and not a lot, but it's really cool to be able to be like, she's like, don't put my name on that, Cody. I didn't write enough. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. It's like, if somebody's in the room and says like one word or one idea that goes in the song, it's like their name is on that damn song. That's how this business works, you know?
Yes.
And so, you know, she's really good with one-liners, and I was like, man, where have you been? Like, I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, you could have helped me out a whole lot of other times.
Right. I was thrilled when I saw her name on the album, because first of all, I think that song could have been either on Mercy or Caned by Nod, because if you did that heavy metal, I would lose my mind.
Yeah.
I love that song because it's edgy.
It's edgy. And
I just love it because it's in such a contrast to the other songs on the album. I just love that you throw in a stinger every now and again.
It's really, we do, you know, and a stinger. That's a really good, because like Loud and Heavy was a stinger, you know. There's if you can put one of those songs on a record where people go, oh, that ain't a country song, you know, they're right. You know, it's
right. It's like, that's not a country song,
but you know, it's the stinger. I like it.
Stinger. You can have that one. You can use that one.
I'll take that. But It was fun. The idea for that song came about from Ward Davis and Greg Jones came into town. We were out in El Paso at the Sonic Ranch, and it was winding down time. We were out there for a solid month. We were there 31 days working on the Mercy record and the Caned by Nod record. But we were in the studio called Big Blue, which my session was only the second session to use that studio. And it's one of the best recording spaces I've ever seen in my life. It's a brand new structure.
Is it may I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you know, I got to go to Sonic Ranch for 2 weeks with Tom McElveen.
I do. I remember that. Yeah.
The day after you left.
Uh-huh.
And because everybody was like, were you at the studio with Cody? I'm like, yeah, I'm not that cool. I was there the day after with his friends.
Bye, Cody.
But I saw him the night before at a concert, but not there. That's and right. Is Big Blue the new studio behind the Neve Room?
No, it's not behind the Neve Room. What they built behind the Neve Room is actually more housing. Big Blue used to be the kind of the catch-all kind of barn storage building next to the Adobe studio.
Oh, okay. So you're out there at Adobe, removed from the main
Right.
house. Okay.
So when we first started going out there years ago, it was just the Adobe studio itself. And then the echo chamber room with a little house that kind of sat off to the left. And then that big blue storage building. Well, they completely renovated the big blue storage building, and it took them a long time, but wow. the care that went into making that studio, I've seen some really, really incredible complexes, and it's up there with any of them.
Right.
But anyway, we were sitting, that was a side note for you. Yeah. We were sitting in Big Blue one morning having coffee, me and Ward and Greg and Rebecca, and Greg Jones and Ward have been friends for years and years. They still work together. The first song that me and Ward and Greg ever wrote together was Same Kind of Crazy.
Right.
Greg's super talented writer. Anyway, and Rebecca was out there, and the four of us were sitting there drinking coffee, and Ward came up with that idea and jumped on a piano. When Ward and I write together, Ward jumps on a piano, and it's easier for us to. It's his first instrument,
right?
Know? And anyway, and oftentimes a song will go somewhere on a piano. It might not have gone on a guitar,
right?
Because we always had the version we know we would have done on the guitar, but let's throw a piano on. So anyway,
right.
He was sitting there. He started that one on the piano, and then he put the piano down. He's like, man, this is like a chugging. This is like the ching, 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 that little chugging part at the beginning of the song, that kind of thing. And then by the end of it, or by the time you get to the I'm Gonna Hurt You chorus, it's all out, Smells Like Teen Spirit. It's like
it builds to this like I find myself in the car, like I gotta slow down. Like I'm gonna have you pay the ticket.
Yeah.
You get going, it's like, I love that song so much. I love songs that build like that.
And that song's so much fun to play live. And, the fact that we're smothering a rock and roll song with steel guitar, like really kick-ass steel guitar too, it's like, we can do anything we want, and we can slow it down and play Mercy.
Right.
Or there's a song on there called Nobody Knows How to Read. Friend of mine named Dave Matzler and I wrote that song, and have that stuff. We can do that all day, but we can do Hurt You all day too, or Roll all day. We're just a band, and at this point in our career, I just want people to listen to it and just go yay or nay.
Right.
I don't, it's like, well, that's not a country song. Well, did you like it? Well, yeah. Well, then who gives a shit?
Right. Everybody's like, well, I really get tired of what genre is that? Well, do you like it? Do you tap your foot? Or do you go to the bathroom? Because really, I have, it's like, what's your bathroom song? People are like, what? Well, when do you go get a beer or go to the bathroom?
We call that the T-shirt song. That's the song everybody leaves on. And
it goes to buy their T-shirt.
Goes to buy their T-shirt. Yeah.
Song, And so I don't have any of those with you, really. Most bands, I do have at least one T-shirt bathroom song. I just don't drink a lot of water when I'm going to sing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
there's other things to drink.
Right. I mean, I'm not going to talk about that. But the one thing that's cool is that your new podcast for season 3 dropped just like last night or this morning, right?
I hope so, because I was on them, man. Yes. Okay. I'm getting the affirmative. Yeah. I'm getting the affirmative. See, because we had had so many built up. We started our 3rd season, and now what we're finding is that people are like asking us, like, hey man, if you have a slot, can I be on your podcast, or I'd love to be on your podcast. And like, I'm like, hell yeah. You know, like,
Please.
like that saves me from having to call you like, hey, yeah, hey, this is Cody, and man, we got this little podcast going, and you know, so it's actually done a lot better. I think we've done like 40 episodes of it now, something like
Right.
that. You know, we've done 8 or 9 for this 3rd season, but we had just dropped the 2nd season not long ago, and I literally was like, that's a podcast we did a year ago. It's like, why the hell hasn't that been dropped? I don't know. I didn't know it hadn't been dropped. It just
Right.
hadn't. We don't have sponsors and stuff. So it
Right.
was just, you know, I don't know, for what, God knows, whatever reason it didn't. And so now it did. And then evidently we did the 3rd season. I don't know if they just figured I was just eventually going to get tired of it and just stop doing it. Like, nah, just, you know, let him run with it for a little while.
You know what it is? They thought you paused on interviews, so they thought you wanted to pause. And then they're like, wait a minute, we have these. We could do this.
Yeah, but see, I found that with the podcast now, I can actually have conversations with people that, you know, I find interesting, that I want to talk to, and I get to ask the questions, which is really fun for me because it's very conversational. It's like talking with you, and that's why I don't really like. I don't even like, this isn't an interview to me. Like, we're just bullshitting, and that's very much how we do the podcast. So it's been fun to. And I'm just glad season 3's out. Hell, man, that made my day. I didn't even know.
It's out, Cody. And you're talking to Josh about Mercy, which is also what we're talking about. So I hope we're not too redundant.
No, absolutely. I'll talk to it all day.
But everybody should check out Cody's podcast. They're awesome. A Couple In with Jinks.
Yeah.
You can find it on.
It's fun.
You could just.
There's no agenda.
There's no agenda. It's a chat. Like we're.
Yeah.
I like our interviews too, because it's not like, hello, I'm Barbara Walters, and today, you know, never that way with anybody, you know.
I encourage everybody, if they choose, you know, it's called A Couple In, because conversationally, it's a lot easier. You know, I've found, you know, and in this business, you know, everybody's got their own thing. Some people like to have a cocktail. Some people like to smoke a joint. Some people like to have a cigarette going, you know, whatever you know, your social, whatever thing is, you know, but you know, conversationally, it's always easier, you know, after you're a couple in, you know, a couple joints in or whatever, and everybody's kind of more on a.
I got out my Dallas.
There you go.
For you.
Yeah, got her Dallas Cowboys.
Got my Dallas Cowboys Tervis, because, you know, we don't have a team in St. Louis anymore, so I'm free agent when it comes to rooting.
Well, but
I want.
I guess so, but do you still root for the Rams because the Rams just won? No, you're like, screw those guys.
No, but listen, my old boss's grandson plays for the Rams, so I was very happy for them.
That's cool.
Happy for them. But, you know, it was really a sad day in St. Louis to lose our team because, you know, I know you are a huge sports fan. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan. I know you're friends with. I love.
Few of those Cardinals, man. A few of those Cardinals.
I know, but I know you're friends.
Yeah, we've known over the last couple.
Yeah, and so, like, it was really hard to lose our team. Like, I lost football Cardinals because Jim Hart is my hero, my sports hero.
Well, I remember when, because they used to be in our division when the Cardinals
did. Staubach. I mean, I grew up. Was Ed Too Tall Jones on Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, we had season tickets on the 13-yard line, 17 rows up. And I had a shirt. Wow. Oh, this is going to catch on. I don't know if I should say this. That said, "Not so swift."
Oh.
And Ed Too Tall Jones saw me and was like, "I'm too tall and you're not so swift." I mean, like, football's been so important in my life. Yeah. And so my friend is a Tervis rep in Dallas, and she got me this. I was thinking about
cool.
You, but it's a special one, so I don't know if you're going to get it.
I was thinking about which I was either going to wear a toboggan or a cap today, and I didn't know what I was going to wear, and I almost wore my Dallas Cowboys toboggan.
But you've worn that in an interview with me before.
I have. I still have it. Same one.
Oh, I can't even read what that says because I don't have my glasses
on. This is my Bloomers Trailers. Oh. This is
Bloomers Trailers.
Yeah,
I know.
Well, it's Bloomer Trailers, but it's Bloomers. Randy Bloomer, you know. But
they make great trailers. They make great trailers.
I know. We're having one built. We're having one built. I was telling somebody the other day, man. I was like, yeah, dude, our Bloomer Trailers are about to be done, and I was like, they're like, you getting a horse trailer? And I was like, no, yeah. We're going to put all of our equipment in the, in the horses stalls. And then we're going to make Bobby Keith ride in the,
say whoever's the drunkest at the end of the night has to go in the stall
and feed him. Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry.
But yeah, I gotta support Bluebird Trailers. They're
awesome.
wonderful. They're wonderful people, but they make a great
in Yellowstone. They use those in Yellowstone.
It's all over Yellowstone. If you can't see the Bloomer advertisements in Yellowstone, you're a blind person.
You're blind. Well, anyway, back to this. Oh my gosh. See, we are just having a chat, Cody, and I'm over here red because I was laughing so hard.
I was laughing, yeah.
Okay, so one last thing on Mercy. Can we talk about I Don't Trust My Memories Anymore?
Yeah, man.
Chris Shiflett.
Dude, that one, we freaking knocked that one out of the park real quick. Really? I'd known Chris I'd been on his podcast years ago. Yes. We run into each other, from time to time. We'll see each other. Like in Nashville that night. Anyway, and Kendall and I have been writing. Kendall and I wrote a lot together. Yeah. I wrote more with Kendall last year than I did with anybody. But he gives me a holler. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to do a write with Chris Shiflett, and I brought you up." And he's like, "Heck yeah, are you in?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." I said, I know him well enough. We can at least sit down and try. Anyway, so that song idea was Chris's. Chris came to the table with that idea. Okay.
It sounds like the West Coast swing, the Merle Haggard, the putting you three together. I could just see you writing it because Chris and Kendall play together a lot. Like Chris has come to the Exit Inn. And I just heard so much Merle and all three of you melding together. It just brought me, I love that song so much.
I do too. And we've been playing it live. And in the first night we played it live, somebody videoed it and he actually saw it. I don't even know how it got up in people video stuff. And it's just on the internet then, you know? And so he got to see it recorded the first night that we had done it. And the sound quality was actually pretty good. It was a phone recording from the but the thing about that song is it's so simple. The music is so laid back that you can get a pretty good quote iPhone or camera phone, recording because it's not
recording, right?
It's not big, huge, loud PA. It's very, very laid back. But love the song. Like I said, we were able to finish that song. It did not take us any more than 2.5 hours, probably. Wow. I mean, we got on and we got Zoom call, bam, bam, bam. I mean, couple of cups of coffee, couple pee breaks, and it was done.
Wow. Well, I got to tell you, that album, I'm always like, well, this is my new favorite album. And then I'm like, oh, this is my new like, I can't. Yeah. I was looking through the albums the other day, and I have quite a Cody Jinks collection, I'm sure you can imagine, of different albums and things. And, there's always a song, that stands out or grabs me. But Hurt and I Don't Trust My Memories Anymore stand out for different reasons. And that's the thing I love is that you are not a one flavor show. You could go from a love song to a heavy metal song in just two songs on a record.
I'm glad you referenced those two songs because of all the songs on the record, those two are two of the most subjective I've found talking with people because I love to hear what people have to say, and somebody was hurt you about what, you're trying to do to the music business, and I was like, that's a really cool take. Like, I'm like, wow, that I didn't, or is that song about your own conscience? I'm like, whoa, that's deep.
Right. You're like, wait a minute.
I was like, you've been in my head. What do you, the different takes that people have. And we ended up, we did a music video for Hurt You as well. It's our first video. We've never done one. And
when is that going to be out? Do you know?
I don't know. They don't tell me anything. I didn't know season 3 of my damn podcast.
Got on the news today.
I tell you what, whenever they drop the Hurt You video, would you let me know?
You know what? I'll send Bobby Keith a message and have him send you a message.
All right, fair enough.
You know, I go through your people. I'm appropriate.
No, you did. No, you always do it the right way.
I do.
But we but one of the alternate takes for I Don't Trust My Memories Anymore, which when we wrote that song, I don't think Chris or Kendall or myself saw it as being what could be maybe seen as a song with somebody battling maybe Alzheimer's or dementia.
I could see that interpretation.
Yeah, because that's something that affects all of us at some point in terms of your mom, dad, spouse, brother, sister, grandparents, all those kind of things. So that was the most interesting thing that I took from that, from what people were hearing in that song. And that really, I was like, man, because I already thought that song was really powerful.
Right.
And after I heard, and that's what's beautiful. It's everything's subjective.
Right.
Once I heard somebody's thought about thinking it was maybe about that, I was like, man, that song just gained a whole lot more power for sure. Right.
And did you have anybody in mind for Hurt You? Did you have
no? I just thought it sounded cool. That's the honest truth.
Okay,
I just thought it sounded cool.
I mean, you would tell me if there was a reason.
No, nobody was mad. I mean, anytime Ward and Greg and Ward are attached at the hip.
Yes.
Ward and I are, Ward's one of the best friends I've ever had in my life. I mean, Greg and Ward
way about you.
Greg and Ward are more like brothers.
Yes.
That's, and they've been friends for a zillion years, but I've never been around the two of them at the same time where we didn't have fun.
Right.
Writing together or just goofing off or whatever,
They definitely have fun.
Yeah. And now having said that, my wife is one of Ward's therapists. Yeah.
Good to know.
My wife and Ward are very dear friends as well. And,
yes.
And she, Ward has a lot of therapists. I'm not one of them, but my wife is. And we can all sit down and write together. And whenever he started playing that song, I was like, I was sitting there because it was Ward's idea, that song was. And it's kind of one of those, I was like, when people are, is that song about your conscience or is that song about whatever, is that song that might have been Ward talking about himself, I don't know, but
because you could interpret it so many different ways.
Yeah. So, Ward's done a lot to shoot himself in his own damn foot, as we all have. As
you get older, you start to notice the bullet holes in your feet, don't you? They start to hurt a little more.
But, but as he sat there, because when he first started, like I said, he was on the piano, and then he grabbed the guitar, and then I grabbed the guitar, and then it just kind of just came out.
Right.
Really, really quickly. And, we were all just kind of throwing lines back and forth, and really the song was getting line after line after line after line really, really well. And I just remember thinking, this song is like just bitching, like it's just
singing and bitching.
It's mean and it's fun and it's mean and it's nasty, but it's fun.
Yes.
Like it's all those things.
Like when Southerners are like,
oh, bless your heart.
Oh, bless your heart.
Bless your heart or yeah.
Bless your heart is like.
Bless your heart. If you get a bless your heart, you're either about to die or you're a dumbass.
Yeah, you're being asked to leave the party.
Yeah.
I always say that to people, like, you can't, there's just certain things when people say it, it's like, oh, if you get a bless your heart, it is over. You have been stung. So, Let's move on to Caned by Nod.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that title. I looked some things up trying to figure you out, which good luck with that.
Yeah, man. I'm like Edward, what's it? Edward Enigma from the Batman? Enigma?
Oh, you're just like an enigma. Yes, an enigma.
Yeah.
Nod, wanderer, exile, fugitive.
Mm-hmm.
Caned, to be intoxicated with drink or drug. Enslaved. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. But that's really
what it says. And
right.
To be caned is also slang for to do something with great power, force, or speed, and to consume alcohol in large quantities.
How does this keep coming back to alcohol or
Cody,
how much drinking or drugs I can do?
I just take notes, okay?
Yeah.
To be prepared.
Uh-huh.
Or to beat with a cane as punishment.
Oh man, that doesn't sound good. I think I'd rather be drunk than be beat with a cane.
I think we'll go with the alcohol aspect.
Yeah.
By Nod. Where did you get it from?
I can't tell you. It's a secret.
Fine.
It's out there. It's out there in the there's theories, and I've heard a good many of them, and somebody may or may not have actually guessed what it is, but it's not to be leaked by these lips.
Fine. So all those things I took notes on and studied have nothing to do with it. Wandering, exiles, fugitives, consuming mass amounts of alcohol.
I don't know. You could.
Okay.
I don't know. Hey, maybe. Sure.
Well, I like the album.
Thanks.
And I like the title. Although Bella was like, Mom, it's caned, not canned. Stop saying canned.
A lot of people I've heard, I don't know what it is. Like people see certain words like Whitey Morgan. We always had that whenever we were on tour together. People would be like, man, we're really excited to see you and Whitney. Oh. And like that. And
you're like Whitney.
His name is Whitey. Like, how do you see Whitney
in there?
People read canned or cane. See, people read caned as canned. There's I don't know. There's like this
in the vernacular. Like I was like, I teach at a school and said canned instead of caned. Like, how'd I do that? The first time when I got the album.
Yeah, there it is.
I was like, canned, cool. And then Bella was like, no, Mom.
Canned by Nod. Man, some dude named Nod came in and fired me today.
Yeah, I got fired by Nod. I'm sure I would have used a different word. So you did this at Sonic Ranch too?
Same time. We did. We went in.
Room?
We did. We recorded the majority of Mercy in the Adobe room and a little bit of Mercy in Big Blue, which they're side by side.
Right. Okay.
And we did the majority of None the Wiser, the Cane by Nod record. We did the majority of that in Big Blue and a little bit of that in the Adobe room.
Okay, cool.
So it was kind of there was not kind of a little going. There was kind of a shit ton going on out there. I mean, you essentially had two studios, two separate bands, two studios,
players, right?
And different players. It was the three of us that were splitting duty between both studios were me, Arthur, and Ed Spear, our engineer. He's engineered.
Oh, got it. Oh, Ed is the guy you're working with at Sonic Ranch now, right? As your engineer?
Ed's actually out of Nashville. He just comes to Sonic Ranch, and we've recorded with him in Nashville. Some of the first stuff that he did was I think he did the reissue. If I'm wrong, sorry, Ed. The reissue of oh shit.
Les Wise.
Thank you. Thanks, man. I think he did that, and then I think like "Wish You Were Here" was one of the first songs I think that
I love that.
Ed engineered on. Anyway, and so he's done all my records since then.
Okay, got it.
Anyway, so Ed and Arthur and myself for 30 days were basically all three of us were a walking anxiety attack. was just a lot. It was a lot going on. And when everybody would break for lunch at one place or for dinner one place, we had to go to the other studio because we would try to coordinate it to where, you know, these guys, this studio went to lunch or dinner or took a break, or, you know, coordinate it to where there was no dead time for us, you know, to where we were trying to be as efficient with both records.
That's a lot. And you have to change your mindset.
I remember working on Mercy. It's such a funny, funny, like, mind fuck, you know, because I walked out of Adobe. We had been working on Mercy, like the song itself, which is this just sweet, beautiful, you know, love song to your person. And, you know, going over and like it being a song called Led Astray, which is talking about how the government's fucking us, you know, like it's like, this is like, yeah. So you're sitting there like, you're just trying to go like,
it's like when you're fighting with your spouse, but then you have to walk into church. You're like,
yeah. And then,
listen, you didn't do that yesterday. Hello, sir. But you have to just instantly change yourself.
Completely different. And and it was funny because I'll tell on Edward and Arthur both, because we've worked together so much now. You know, they're wonderful, wonderful people to work with. Ed's got a freaking Grammy, and, you know, just stud, super stud. But we were sitting there in the studio one day, and Ed just stops and gets this weird look on his face, and he's sitting back in his chair behind the control board, and everybody just kind of stops and looks at him like he's going to say something really profound. He goes, he's from England, and he goes, I just literally had an anxiety attack, like just right now. And we were like, are you okay? Like, because I know what those are like. You need to go lay down. He's like, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. I just need to, like,
go through it.
I'm coming out of it. Like, you know, and it did, like, there was, fast forward another day or two, and I walk outside, and Arthur is on his back on the ground during the day looking straight up. And I was like,
in all that dirt in front of the studio?
Yeah. I go, well, he was laying like on like a board.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, you all right, buddy? He goes, yeah, man. Got to get that anxiety level down, man. I got to get closer to the earth and get the rhythm back, you know? And I was like, hey, man, do what you got to do, you know?
Let's face it, if there's any place on earth, you can get your anxiety level down.
Yeah.
Iconic Ranch.
It's at the ranch, you know, but it was, you know, and what I'm saying, you know, not to make light of it, because anxiety attacks are crippling, and I had one while we were out there too, you know. But we worked. That's as hard and as furious, because we didn't even drop all the songs we recorded. We recorded like 22 country tracks. We recorded 12 metal tracks, kept 10. We recorded 20 or 22 tracks for Mercy and kept 12. So like I have like a whole nother record that it isn't even going to see the light of day for a while, until we just decide if we want to drop singles, put an EP out, go back in and re-record some stuff. You know, I'm not happy with all of it, but I'm happy with most of it.
Yes.
Our workload out, because think about it, it was May of last year, and everybody was sick of just everything. And I just knew we needed to get buried in work. Mm-hmm. I needed to get buried in work. I needed to go out there and push myself and get stressed out. And in the end, feeling like I came away with 2 really good records, and it was a great exercise. And it's like, okay, you know, we've got to always try to do something different. You know, we put the double record out, and that was fun, and that's hard to do. Double records are hard, man. That's a lot of original material.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, and it was all original. So we did that. And then it's like, well, you know, the sanctions were, you know, everybody was kind of coming out of lockdown. They were starting to get, you know, vaccines were starting to be available, and all this. And, you know, I called Arthur, and, you know, I said, I want a month. at the Sonic Ranch. I'm not going home. I said, nobody's going anywhere.
We're all just flying into El Paso, driving down, driving in, and turning it off.
And we're not going anywhere while we're there because there was nowhere to go. Everything was still shut down.
Right.
And, so there was no driving into El Paso to go do anything. Everything was still, there was no driving into El Paso to go, see a show or see a band play or whatever. There was nothing. And so it was just us in the desert for 30 days.
It's really
working.
I feel so honored that I got invited to go there, first of all, with Tom.
Yeah.
And it's really one of the most magical, the only word that I can put on the spirit and the vibe of Sonic Ranch.
Yeah.
It's otherworldly. It's quiet. There's absolutely no one else but the other artists and the staff that are there. You're secluded from the world. You're only a couple hundred feet from the border. You're
closer to being in big trouble on the other side of the border than you are any law over on our side.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's still the wild, wild west out there.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, here we are at the border. But the magic and that seclusion and being able to do and be somewhere without any distraction is a beautiful thing. Would you agree?
Yeah, you have to have that. That's what that place is for. And
yes,
whenever, Adobe Sessions was that's the first thing we ever recorded out there. And that was back whenever I basically had to write Tony an IOU. We didn't have any money back then. And
he's something else, isn't he? He's amazing.
He's one of the most amazing humans I've ever met in my life. That's a whole nother trip.
That's a whole nother, yeah,
that's cool. I don't
have time for that because we're grinding down our time here. But
yeah, being out there, it's like you said a while ago, it's spiritual. And I've spent all in all, I've spent months total of my life out there,
yes,
a lot of time, together, a month here, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, 3 weeks there, a week here, just a lot of my and most of my recording has come from out there. But that came from back in 2014 when we started to record the Adobe Sessions record. I didn't buy into the fact that it's, I know there's great studios and all this, but a studio is a studio. Now with as much technology as we have, you can get whatever sound you want from, your neighbor's kitchen.
Right.
It's all there now, And at that point, I always use the studio as it's a necessary evil. You got to go to a studio to make a record. You got to make a record to go out and tour on it. You got to go out and tour and make a living, And Arthur was trying to talk me into this place, and I was just bucking it, because at that time you got to understand, I was on the road 230, 240 days a year at that time.
Yes.
Like that was back when, that's back when I was doing just stupid amounts of shows, not able to go home in between, 5-6 week runs. And, we weren't starving at that point anymore. We were playing a lot, so we weren't starving, but we weren't really making a lot of money at that point. I said, why am I going to go out there for 2 weeks whenever I could go home, and record in the DFW area and be home every night. Right. And anyway,
and now you have the luxury of more time.
The rest is history. I went out there once. And so, yeah,
I try to explain to people, and there's just really, you can't. So
no, you can't
explain it. It's magic. So let's look at the future here for a minute, because I know we're going to wrap up here.
I'll tell you what, if you give me enough time to grab another beer, like I can do another beer's worth, which that'll take me about 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
Are you on a time crunch?
I'm not. Are you guys? Right. We can edit from here. Do you want me to stop the recording?
Yeah, you good. You just
we're just gonna leave
leave it going. I'm gonna grab a beer. I'm gonna be literally 20 seconds.
He's got beer. I've got coffee. Things are working out.
Life is good.
Life is good. So let's talk about what's coming up next. Let's talk about I know you have some shows coming up. Are you so happy to be getting back out on the road with fans?
I miss fans so much, and it, when you're, we were talking a while ago about how whenever you're running, you're on the road, so much of the time, 8, 9, 10 months, sometimes, for really, really hard touring bands, like we were at one time. You can kind of get to the point where you get burned out on it, and like anything else, you just work,
Right.
work. But, and I'm not going to lie, the lockdown thing was, in some ways, it was really beneficial to me because it was a forced break, which I had never taken that before.
Same.
And yeah,
I mean, I've never been home that long before.
I thought, man, if this lasts very long, I'm going to go crazy because I had like a 3-week rule, a 4-week rule. I couldn't be home more than 3 or 4 weeks. I'd start going nuts. And I still do get stir crazy, and you can ask my wife and my kids, and they know whenever I'm feeling like the Tasmanian devil and I'm needing to go,
Bob and Bella know when I reach the wall, they're like, Mom, just drive, just take a drive, just take, just leave, because they can tell I'm like, I can't be in this house anymore.
You just, I went through some of that too, but being forced to take a break, thankfully we had such a heavy 2018 and 2019 touring that our band and crew was okay for a while, not going out to work. We had enough money in the bank to
breathe for a minute.
To breathe. And it was a forced breath of air. And in a lot of ways it was really good. But what it came back to is you mentioned missing the fans. I had no idea how much I missed them until I came back. After we came back and started playing again, I had a completely different point of view.
Yes.
Where I've always spent time with our fans. Always have. I always will.
Always. It's one of the things people ask me sometimes. People who know that I know you will say, and Blackberry Smoke, will you explain to me how those two bands are ruling without a lot of radio play? I said, I'm going to tell you how. They're authentic, they have integrity, and they meet with their fans, and they mean it. There's not a fake bone. I mean, I know I said you and Blackberry Smoke because, they're good friends of mine.
Yeah.
But
they're great, man. We got to play with them this year.
That's a difference maker.
Last year. That is the difference. And it's real grassroots. And those guys have been doing it, over 20 years now. And it's they built what they built, the same way we've done what we've done, and it's, grinding away and being good to your fans. But, and they are, and I've seen that firsthand as well. And when we played with them last September at a festival, it was the first time that we had got to meet and everything. And
oh wow,
my son was there. My whole family was there, but my son's a big Blackberry Smoke fan. And we were watching Blackberry Smoke from the side of the stage, and my son looks up and he goes, "Dad, Charlie's got cooler rock and roll moves than you do."
He does do a lot of spinning, and
I was like, well,
you're like, well,
I have to agree with you.
I'll have to pick up the moves here.
Yeah, but
that's funny.
Yeah,
well, you both have really cool hats.
Yeah, our hat games are strong.
Your hat games are 100%.
I need to work on my rock and roll moves, but
I guess. Oh, that's funny.
But I miss the people
to humble you a little, huh?
Oh, every day.
Every day they do it. Every day.
I just missed the fans. I really did, and getting to talk with the fans. And normally whenever you're talking with fans, you're really not doing much of the talking. You're listening more than you're talking when you're talking with fans, because they want to tell you, what this song meant or what this song meant. And it's the same thing I did to Rodney Crowell the other night. Whenever I got to meet Rodney,
it had to be amazing.
I was telling him how much I brought. I'll even show it to you. Hold on.
Okay. Cody's got a special gift from Rodney.
I bought this record in 2003. It's Fate's Right Hand, and it's the Rodney Crowell record he dropped in in 2003. And this record like got me through a bunch of stuff, you know. And I was sitting there, and after I got to meet him, and the great thing about it was Rodney didn't know who I was.
Oh.
He was just standing there talking to this dude that was excited to meet him.
Right.
That was me. And he was so cool. And that's why I almost appreciate it more that he didn't know. Cause I wasn't like, hey, I'm that guy.
I'm Cody Jinks.
I'm that guy. I'm not that guy. You know, well, I mean, cause he could look at me and go, well, piss on you. How many hits you got? You know, I mean, but it's just, he was just sitting there listening to me say, you know, how important this record was or is, still is in my life, just as a fan. And I was laughing to myself, and my wife was there too. And she was laughing at me on the way out. And I was like, it's so funny. I said, I just did what people do to me. and I love that. You know, that's whenever you forget that, that's when it's over for you. That's the most important thing. So yes, I missed the fans a great deal, and it's so good to be back out there.
Yes. It's interesting too. Like, I don't think of myself as anybody, and people go, oh my God, you're the Duchess of Rock and Roll. And I'll go, no, that's the title of my blog. My name is Cheryl Swift. I'm a humble woman from the Midwest who has a husband and a daughter and a wonderful life that I've been given. And they'll get nervous. Like, people get nervous. And I'm like, first of all, I'm interviewing the cool cats. I'm just the chick who does that. And it's humbling. So I can't imagine you do it times 50,000 of what I get it. And it's a weird experience I've had actual rock stars walk up to me and go, are you the Duchess of Rock? And I'll be like, how do you know who I don't think of myself in that way. You know,
well, just wear that hat, you know, if it fits, just wear it, you know, just
cool. I got recognized in Napa, California, and I was like,
just go with it. It's fun. Enjoy it. And just always, you know, but you're always nice to people. So, you know, just go with it, because, you know, people 99.9% of the time, people want to come up and say something nice to you. I've never ever in my whole life had somebody walk up to me and be like, hey dude, you know, I think your music sucks. Now there are people out there that think my music sucks. They just don't tell me.
They're not coming to the concert.
Or they tell me on a keyboard, you know, on like a comment
the keyboard
section.
Warriors, those are fun, aren't they?
Yeah.
I have some of those. I have those. I have haters. I think
gosh,
you know you've made it is when people start bashing you, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, thanks.
And so you just, you know, that stuff is, it is what it is. But when people walk up to you on the street, you know, they, like I said, over 99% of the time, they've got something kind to say. They want to shake your hand. They want to tell you, thank you.
Yes.
They want to ask if would it bother you if we take a picture? No, it doesn't bother me. Come on, let's take a picture. You know,
I probably take a few too many pictures with you.
Yeah, it's all right, because one of these days when we're older, you know, and we're looking back and, you know, and people are like, holy shit, there's the Duchess of Rock and Roll and that old gray guy. What's his name again? I don't know. There are a lot of pictures together though, man.
I'm like 11 years older than, how old are you?
In musician years or in real years?
Well,
in real years, I'm 41. I'm actually about 55.
Well, in real years, I'm considerably older than you, but in my heart, I'm always going to be 34.
I hear you.
That's the age I stopped at.
34 35, I think, was probably about the best.
Yeah.
Because at 35, man, I felt like at 35, I was just whipping ass and taking names, man.
And we weren't wearing knee braces.
No, I was still 5 years from having my second knee operation at 35.
I mean, I'm still getting injections and had, you know, I mean, it's like people ask you what's up and I'm like, I really don't want to talk about surgeries or knees or braces. You know, it's a different conversation. You know, how you doing these days is a little different as you get older. But anyway.
That's just, well, yeah, it's true. I had knee surgery. I get cleared to do physical activity again in January. So last month. But I finally saddled my horse the other day for the first time in like 6 months to go ride, you know, and I was like, man, how's this going to go? So I was like, yeah, no, we'll grab that knee brace. I'm just going to go ahead and
I'll wear that out.
Slap that knee brace on. And yeah, for, you know.
Yeah, there are times when I come to the shows with a knee brace on. So anyway, regarding the future, you guys have some shows coming up. Are you so excited to get back out there? I know you are.
I am, you know, we're, you know, and especially some of the shows I think that you're going to mention, you know, down here in Texas. It's
yeah, I know Texas.
I'm excited. I'm excited that we're going to get to play as many Texas shows as we are.
Yes, because I know you're going to Evansville, Indiana here in February 24th and 25th.
Uh-huh.
And then you're going to go to Knoxville with Brent Cobb and Jordan Foster, correct?
Yep.
I love Brent. I've heard Jordan's music, but I've never met him in person. Brent's a dear friend of mine. You guys are going to have a great time.
Oh man, it's the first time that Brent and I will be billed together. I hung out with Brent not long ago. We were doing a string of shows with Nikki Lane.
Oh, that's right.
Some Gulf Coast stuff.
Yes.
And Brent and his wife found a babysitter for a couple of days and just came out and made a weekend of it. We had 2 days in Mobile, Alabama.
Oh, that's awesome.
Me and Nikki were playing, and so we hung out with Brent quite a bit.
He's such a great man.
He's a good one. We wrote a song together and we recorded it, and it was one I really was pushing for the record. And I don't know why it didn't go on the record. I guess because I couldn't put all of them on the record. Maybe not.
Maybe later we'll get to see it.
It'll come out eventually, sooner than later.
Okay, that would make me really happy, and a lot of other people.
Yeah, we wrote a really cool, and it was me and Brent and Adam.
Things are getting better by the minute.
Yeah, it's a cool song. It's a real cool song. We'll drop it one of these days.
I know. Now you got me thinking. Now I'm in my head. I'm sorry. And then let's see. You're headed to Round Rock, Texas.
Yes. Yeah, we get to christen a new amphitheater down there.
And then you're headed to, let's see, you're going to Houston in May.
Houston, yep.
And then you're going
a long-awaited trip back to Houston.
Yes, because you haven't been to Houston in a long time.
It's been 2 or 3 years since we've been to Houston. The last time we played Houston, we played with the Toadies.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's been several years ago. That was awesome, man. They were
great.
I know,
right? Talk about a throwback. I love them.
They were super, super cool, man.
I was a punk rock girl back in the day. But
there you go, man. Shout out to the Toadies. Rubberneck's a freaking rad record, man. They were on their 25th anniversary tour of that record where we got to play with them. So they were cool. But that was the last time we were in Houston. And then the big one, you know, you're probably going to say Dallas, right?
I was going to say Dallas.
Yeah. There you go. There's the Dallas Cowboys star. Yeah, we're going to play Dallas, and it'll be the first time we've played Dallas in a long time. We haven't played the Metroplex proper in almost 4 years.
Wow.
And that was February. So that was Fort Worth in August of 2018 for the Loud and Heavy Fest.
Wow.
And so we're playing Dallas, and
you're playing Dallas in May?
Yeah.
Dallas, May.
I think that's where we're doing like the big DFW show is going to be in Dallas this year.
Okay, cool. Yes. My people are telling me yes.
Good.
My people today are your people. Technology is
sometimes sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Did I say too much? I don't know.
I know. I'm always like, am I going to? And then it's festival season.
Yeah, we got some really cool stuff coming up.
Stagecoach.
That's one that this is going to be our third time playing Stagecoach. 2 reschedules.
Yes.
Anyway, because of all the stuff, you know.
Yes,
but
the stuff.
That's one that I'm always excited. They always do a great job out there.
Yes.
It's very, very, for as big as it is very, very well run.
Oh, good.
And they have wonderful. You're not everybody out there is going to be your favorite, but
right, because
everybody out there is going to be somebody's favorite.
Right.
Like if you can't find something to get into out there, like there's some rad music, man.
Yeah, you don't like it. And then Montana. I'm like, should I go to Montana?
Good luck, man. Because that town rents out quick.
Oh,
I'm already hearing that people are like, dude, there's already no place to stay, man.
oh, maybe
people
I'm not coming to Montana.
people are already booked. I don't know. It's probably worth looking, but I heard
Right.
the other day somebody was like, dude, I can't even get tickets to,
Oh, really?
or like, there's no place to stay. There's
Well,
no, all this.
I get to see you a lot. I feel blessed and honored, at I
Yeah.
mean, it's such a beautiful thing to watch how your star has risen and how you're still humble and kind. I mean, I will be forever grateful for who you are and the kindness you've showed to me and my family and my daughter. And it really is, it's extraordinary in a world where people are shooting for different things that you're just still you. I just can't even tell you how much that means to me. And people often ask me how real you are. And I'm like, oh, they don't come much more real.
Well, Cheryl, in this business is full of a bunch of sharks and piranhas and other bloodthirsty type of people. You've never asked me for anything, so it's I appreciate that. And you don't expect anything. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't, you don't get your feelings hurt and bent out of shape, so, it's just, there's ways to be in this business, and there's, and there's ways that, that people in any situation, could conduct themselves. Hopefully we choose to conduct ourselves in a manner that's helpful and kind, and, to everyone, hopefully that's what we're doing.
Well, I appreciate it, because I know a while back you were like, I'm not going to do interviews. We can drink beer, we can hang out. I was like, that's cool. So when you said, let's do an interview, I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Made my day, because I respected your wishes and haven't asked for a couple of years.
You haven't.
I just don't want to ever, I just want to, this is to promote you, not me. Like, I want to do what you want to do. That's, I didn't do this for me to get famous. I did this to help promote records and talk about tours and let people see a little glimpse into an artist's life that they might not otherwise have,
Yeah. Well, but we did just sit there. I just had a couple of beers and
I've had so much coffee and
we just shot the shit. So,
yeah, so
that's all we did. We just sat down and shot the shit.
Well, hopefully this interview will be up soon. I'm going to work on editing that, but I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
And, look forward to seeing you soon. And thank you so much. I'm Cheryl Swift, the Duchess of Rock and Roll, here today hanging and drinking beverages with none other than Cody Jinks. Thank you guys.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
And we'll see you up the road soon. Bye, guys.